Welcome back to the program. Now for a check on the media sector's performance on the share market this week. And I guess what's to come as well. We're joined by Evan Lucas from IG. Evan, a big week coming up for media earnings with both Fairfax and News Corp out. And we've obviously been speaking with News Corp today. What are you expecting to see for those ones?
Yeah, News Corp is obviously the quarterly one. It's the one that will come out first. Looking at what they're going to expect, we're seeing sales looking like it might contract a little bit by about 1.5%, but it should be a good quarter for News Corp. They should actually roar back into an earnings movement to the upside and also a net profit rather than a net loss. So that's clearly the big take out of it. Net profit is expected to be around about 59 to 56 million Australian dollars and around about 54 million US dollars. It's all about print versus digital and how that transition is happening inside News Corp. We also want to see what's going on inside their Australian and UK television assets and how that's moving. It's had a fairly rocky period. So that's News Corp, and that's the things to look out for. Looking at something like Fairfax, again, unfortunately, it's going to be another year of slight declines and just constant gradual declines like it has been over the last couple of years. It's something we've spoken about on this program many times before, but 4% off in net profit and the same for EPS. Sales down by roughly about 1 to 2.5% across the board. It also has that question, print versus domain, and how much is domain propping up their entire business? How is their online business going? How is their sort of movement into also the on-demand video going as well? They're the things to look out for. Domain particularly will be the big one at Fairfax. Just quickly as well, Evan, we've seen that cord-cutting issue in the US see a basically 6.4% decline in US media stocks. Is that coming here at home? It certainly feels to be the case, and if you look really into it, I mean, Disney was the one that really sort of started that whole sort of sell-off. They announced that their ESPN just saw a slight amount of viewer numbers coming out and subscriber numbers being lost, and that just sort of filtered into the whole space. It went across Fox, it went across some of the other big cable plays, and we can see that coming here. Netflix are clearly telling you that they are monstering the market. Presto and Stan still haven't really seen a pickup, but the cable feed-in is certainly a concern. Does Foxtel start to look at offering their services online? That's certainly the case, but the US, it's more prominent. It is clearly there. Cable TV is a massive part of their media revenue, and it's seeing a big hit on the share prices. That sort of cable cutting, as they call it, starts to really come to fruition. All right, Evan Lucas, thank you so much for that. Have a good day, guys. Evan Lucas from IG with the latest on the media stocks. All right, let's return to James Manning, editor and publisher of Mediaweek, of course, in the studio with me. James, let's talk about Seven, because it's been in the news quite a bit this week. It's got a court case going on. It's also had some poor ratings. Tell us about this pending court case as well. Yeah, look, as we go to air, we're not sure quite which way the judge here in the case will go. It's in the federal court. Look, win or lose, Seven's got some big challenges ahead of it, you know. And it's over hot plate, isn't it? Yeah, correct. The hot plate on 9, which has been rating very well. So it's a bit of a win for Seven if they can pull the show off air, which is very unusual if that happens. But so it's not a great outcome for 9 there. But Seven's still got some challenges. They just need to get some audiences back onto their primetime schedule. Because Restaurant Revolution hasn't done well for them. That's really fallen in a ditch. They were going to run it 4 nights a week. It's just gone back to 1 night a week. So they look like they'll stick with the format and not close down the restaurants, but let them operate and choose an eventual winner. There's also speculation on the weekend that Tim Warner's under pressure. Yeah, look, and I think it's a bit premature to be doing that, but there was some speculation about possible replacements. Kurt Burnett was one, he'd been internal. David Leckie coming back, James Warburton coming back, which, gee, that would be very unusual given all the court dramas they've been through. Even Ben Roberts-Smith was name came up, who's just been appointed, I think, General Manager of the Regional 7 up in Queensland. So but I guess he could be a long-term leader, but there certainly wouldn't be anything happening short-term with him. Watch that space. Okay, Fairfax Media also tabling its concerns about the concentration of the power of sports rights. News Corp in a submission to the ACCC. What are we hearing? Yeah, look, we've talked a lot about this, how, 10 and Foxtel together could have the possibility of it cornering the market. Foxtel buy rights, they'll use 10 as the outlet for the free-to-air items that are on the anti-siphoning list. But look, I think that can happen even without the investment in 10, because you can certainly partner with another network without owning a share of it. And we've seen in the past AFL rights shared between 9 and 10 and Foxtel, 7 and 10 and Foxtel. So, that ownership thing, I don't know if that's really going to influence those sports rights too much. All right, switching sectors, the outdoor sector. We often talk about this one, but it's actually started the new financial year up pretty strongly. Yeah, look, 48 million they took in July. It's up roughly close to 10%. So they're very, very bullish about their growth long term.
be looking the calendar year, I think they count their revenue on, so they'll be looking for about 650 million plus, even edging towards 700 million. So, it could be a good year for them.
All right, we like to talk some media moves, obviously in management moves and top roles, movements in the media. 10 signing production executive Hilary Innes. What's behind that? And there's a few others as well. Yeah,
look, she's come across from ITV Studios, and a bit of late news this week was that Anita Jacoby, who's been running ITV Studios, speculation she's leaving. So even after delivering 10, one of their biggest hits of the year, I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. So a bit of change there. Carla Valla, a sales executive from 10, of course, a lot of their sales executives are now moving across to MCN. She's leaving the business, going back where she used to work at Southern Cross Austereo. So it's a good win for Southern Cross, I guess.
And former SMH property editor Jonathan Chancellor, where's he going? Because he's moving somewhere.
Yeah, look, he's turning up at the Daily Telegraph. So he used to write Sydney Morning Herald property column. It was a must-read, It's back over a decade ago.
He's made a big name for himself on
that.
He
has, and he launched his own website in the meantime, and he's bought that back, so he'll still be operating that. Property Observer, that's called. But he's a great get, and they've already delivered a bit of a scoop with the news about James Packer selling his Vaucluse mansion for $60 million plus. So he's already paying dividends there.
Yeah, exactly. They must be happy with that one. Now, also Stark on MediaVest. We talked a bit about this, but Stark on MediaVest has got someone new?
Yep. Well, no, they've lost someone. John Sintress is going across to IPG Media Brands. He was on the show not that long ago talking to us about the ad market here. He's joining Henry Tager over in New York, so it's a bit of a loss for them.
Now, I want to talk 21st Century Fox, because obviously we heard that they topped fourth quarter earnings overnight, topped expectations. We had James and Lachlan on the earnings call. What
look, it was the first big results since they came back into the company, if you like, particularly Lachlan's back in the business. Rupert Murdoch had released a statement saying, look, there weren't any big spectacular highlights from the earnings, but he said, look, 21st Century Fox is well positioned now for quality video product. And as we've talked about, everybody from Netflix to YouTube, everywhere, there's big audiences now for online video, and 21st Century Fox can be a big player in that space. They talked a little bit about the new Shine Endemol business, that the merger of those production houses, and both James and Lachlan alluded to the changing media landscape and how they're ready for it.
That fits in with what they launched at News Corp Australia just obviously last week, which we were discussing earlier on the show. Let's take a look now at the ratings for week 31, kicking it off with Free to Air. And I guess not a surprise to see MasterChef the winner. Well, got top spot.
Yeah, look, in 3 of those top 5, when we see that again, they've still got a bit of good content to come this year. So they're very bullish. They're just trading very well.
I'm a Celebrity doesn't usually get into the top 10 though.
No, the final ep certainly got up there, but it was good in the demos where they sell advertising. They got some good sponsorship money.
All right, let's take a look at the next 5 there, or pretty much
all the rest of it's all news. Yeah,
ABC making into there, 7 News.
It's hard to get a show after 7 p.m. at night into that top 10 at the moment.
All right, let's move on and take a look at subscription television ratings now for week 31, kicking it off with most watched sports programs. There's the top 5. I mean, no surprises. You see.
Yeah, just over a month away from finals in both those codes now.
Exactly. All right, top 5 non-sport shows now. It is a mixed picture there. Got a couple of movies. A couple
from Disney doing well. A couple of movies and Peppa Pig, something for the kids.
There you go, mixed picture there for the sports. All right, let's for the non-sports. Sorry, let's talk television now, because after recently claiming 2015 wins for the Melbourne and Sydney News, Nine's now claimed a national winner for 2015.
Yeah, they've got to the stage where they've won enough wins, more than half of the year, so somebody else like Seven would be the only one who could, in theory, get close to them. They can't do that now. So is that more bad news for Seven? Yes, it is. So Craig McPherson's coming in to sort of oversee their news and really try and get that back on track and be a little bit more competitive with Seven.
So is that why they've brought these people in? I mean, because as we said last week, there are a lot of top sort of positions there that are filled by a lot of top people.
Yeah. Well, look, I guess they're thinking, look, another great mind can't hurt, So how that will exist with how that will, run alongside existing management is yet to be played out, but I don't see any reason that just one more smart operator in there just might make a bit of a difference.
And of course, we've been talking about the Olympics. It's a big ratings winner, isn't it? This one?
Absolutely, yeah.
And it's coming up.
Yep, well, less than a year away now, so the big broadcasters have been celebrating, NBC in the US, and Seven here, of course. Seven hasn't said yet a lot about what they're doing. They've had some programming with Bruce McAvaney. He's got a special series. I think it's running on 7 too, and I saw one of them this week with Susie O'Neill. Just some great Olympic memories, some highlights, just starting to get people in the mood. Seven hasn't said a lot about the coverage, as I noted, but they're talking about it'll be a big multi-platform coverage this year. There'll be apps, there'll be streaming stuff. It's going to be a lot different to what they've certainly done before, yeah.
And what about what else Seven might have coming up for it as well?
Yeah, look, they They need to get some milk, but the X Factor is one of their shows coming up that might help them in prime time later in the night. I don't think that's that far away. And 800 Words, it's a new show with Eric Thompson, you might remember from Pack to the Rafters. It's a great show about, it's a New Zealand co-pro. Not a lot of episodes, but I think it just might find an audience.
After Restaurant Revolution, I'm sure they'll be hoping that works for them.
Sure.
James Manning will have to leave it there, but thank you so much as always.
Thanks, Ingrid.
Editor and publisher of Mediaweek there. And that is all we have time for on the show today. We've got more news and analysis coming up next, though, so don't go anywhere.